Is it working?
Interesting.
Oh,
We'll
go ahead.
do that one. Give it a
Go
go.
ahead with it. Go, go, go.
Super loud, but you'll know.
Okay, I want to call the meeting to order. It is Tuesday, March 10th, 6 p.m. Dina, do we have a quorum?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay, so I would like to have Bill Green come up and do the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Dear Lord, my Heavenly Father, thank you so much for letting us gather here today. This is part of our liberty of living in a country like we have. We have a full government that we can work with and that can watch over us and help us through the things as we can help them through their decisions on helping us to run this city, Lord. Lord, we ask you to watch over everybody that's going to be making comments today. Let them be positive. Let everything that we do today be positive. Sometimes we get a little itchy with each other and things don't need to go that way. Lord, we ask you to calm everybody's voices, calm their way of talking, calm their way of thinking about the stuff that we need to look at for our fair city today. And Lord, watch over our fair city. Bless it as you have blessed it in the past. Bless us with more people to come in, happy people to come with us, and a good, strong, even growth that'll benefit everybody that's here. Lord, we ask you that in the holy name of your Son, Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Amen to that.
Thank you. Okay, so number one, my Bible verse, Luke 6:31, do to others as you would have them do to you. Okay. All right, so I would like to follow the theme that we're trying to do, which is supporting our local new businesses. I wanted to welcome Politos and Rotolos to Willow Park and congratulate them for successful openings. If you've not eaten there, I encourage you to go eat there, but also visit all of our businesses in Willow Park and support us. That would be lovely. Thank you. Okay, at this time, we will hear public comments. I'm going to read some points posted on every agenda item that we will adhere to tonight. To address the City Council, residents must complete a speaker's form and turn it in to the City Secretary 5 minutes before the meeting starts. Each speaker shall approach the podium and state his or her name and address before speaking. The public cannot speak from the gallery, but only from the podium. Thank you for adhering to the meeting decorum guidelines outlined in our governance policy, rules of public comments approved back in 2019. We also have ours that we were handed out from our attorneys. And some things that it says that we need to watch is the mayor has the right to silence a speaker if the discussion comes too personal, too loud, too crude, irrelevant, impertinent, redundant, or slanderous. There's more on here, but I won't go into all of them, but we need to be sure that we treat each other kindly and respectful, each other, but also from the citizens. We ask that you do that to the officials that are here. So the first speaker is Amy Fennell.
Hi, my name's Amy Fennell. I live at 1304 Saddle Trail here in Willow Park. I became involved with city politics as an activist in 2016 when Willow Park was a mess. And then I won a seat on council in 2017, where I served through 2020. During my time, the city began live streaming meetings and repaired water and road infrastructure long neglected by previous council. We brought in water from Fort Worth to provide for current and future demand and approved a new wastewater treatment plant. We built relationships with neighboring cities and became a bastion for business with double-digit sales tax increases year over year. In short, we built a city with pride. Willow Park's reputation finally reflected the goodness of her citizens and was no longer an embarrassment to Parker County. I was honored to be part of it, and I left council feeling proud to have ushered in a new era for Willow Park. Then you, Mayor Palmer, were elected, and within 9 months of you being sworn in,
Okay,
what I
Amy, we're not doing this again. Amy, I'm calling you out. Don't do it again. I just read you the decorum. You want to continue, then you need to leave.
551.007 Government Code.
I'm not going to do that.
Shortly after you took office.
Go ahead. We're not going to do it again, Amy.
Shortly
Just
after-
not doing it. So you can leave. Commander, you can help him leave if she
Shortly after you
continues.
took office, people started calling me.
Stop. We're going to have a
Make a
break.
motion to appeal the
Everybody
ruling of the
break.
chair.
Take a break. Take a break.
I had the motion out first.
What do you want to do?
I have a motion to appeal the ruling of the chair.
We're not going to sit here and let you slander. I just read you the codes. We're not doing it.
It's not.
We're not doing it. It is too. You can call everybody out
551.007.
individually. You can help
Shortly
her
after you
out.
took office, people started calling me.
No, stop now. Stop it. No.
Excuse me.
Marcy, they're going to handle it right here. These two police are here to handle a situation. I just read what we're not going to do. We're not going to do that. Do not disrupt the meeting. Let's go about our business and get to a meeting. We're doing meeting business, not slandering
Eric.
the council or the mayor. You need to step up.
Eric made a motion.
Do you have any comments to make that aren't specifically directed at the mayor or the mayor's performance?
I will get to that.
Why don't we skip to that, please?
I've never read anything in 551.007 that dictates that that has to happen. Mayor.
We're not doing it,
Palmer
Amy.
is part of the governing body.
That's right. We just
of
read to you
which I
what we're
have
not going to do,
freedom-
Amy.
Of which I have the
We're
freedom
not
to
doing
speak
it.
to.
Amy, don't do it. We're done. Stop.
Shortly after you took office, people started calling me.
Stop it, Amy, right
asking for
now.
help and understanding on what was happening.
Let's have a short recess, shall we?
Yes, please. We're going to recess right now at 6:08. (6:14), we're back. Amy, would you like to try again?
My name is Amy Fennell. I live at 1304 Saddle Trail here in Willow Park. I became involved with city politics as an activist in 2016 when Willow Park was a mess, and then won a seat on council in 2017 where I served through 2020. During my time, the city began live streaming meetings and repaired water and road infrastructure long neglected by previous councils. We brought in water from Fort Worth to provide for current and future demand and approved a new wastewater treatment plant. We built relationships with neighboring cities and became a bastion for business with double-digit sales tax increases year over year. In short, we built a city with pride. Willow Park's reputation finally reflected the goodness of her citizens and was no longer an embarrassment to Parker County. I was honored to be part of it and left council feeling proud to have ushered in a new era for Willow Park. One of the things that was key during that time was that we had orderly meetings and we were able to execute and take action. Then you, Mayor Palmer, were elected, and within 9 months of being sworn in, much of what I helped achieve has been unraveled. Shortly after you took out office, people started calling me, asking for help and understanding on what was happening. I told them I didn't know anything about you, and perhaps things would settle down with time. Then you, Mayor Palmer, called me looking for advice because you felt overwhelmed and especially wanted help with Brian Grimes. Many people know I was not a fan of Grimes, and I tried to help you navigate those waters. I advised you to win the trust of the council and put you in touch with a couple of business owners to bring you up to speed with development. I called Eric Contreras and urged him to give you the benefit of the doubt, have patience, and help lead council and the city through the change, which he has done a very good job with. When you called me because Grimes had badgered you at a TML meeting, I chose to believe your story and advised you to get the security footage as proof. When the footage didn't match your story, it was clear you had no interest in behaving like a mayor.
Fritz?
In the months since, I have observed your leadership.
Our attorney's trying to talk to you, Amy. Stop.
We can't allow that. You're directing the comments specifically at the mayor, and you're accusing the mayor of
I'm calling
being
out these.
untruthful.
I'm calling out the non-productive nature of these meetings, which is conducted by the
Well,
mayor.
you're not helping the situation
No, you're
now, are
not.
you? So if you're going to continue, we're going to have to ask you to leave.
You sure about that? My First Amendment rights, Government Code 551?
So in a public meeting, your
0.007.
First Amendment rights or not, you can't just say whatever you want, whenever you want. It has to be pertinent to what we're talking about in this meeting. It has to be
Actually, no. In
respectful.
2019, legislative session of 2019, the Texas legislature passed a law stating that public comment at the beginning of meetings, but it doesn't have to be at the beginning of meetings. Public comment could be made about anything at any subject. Before that, it was limited to whatever was on the agenda. So in 2019, that changed, where you could have public comment on anything you wanted. And then items to speak specifically to were given time where you could speak specifically to those items. And so that was changed in 2019 for public comment.
I'm very aware of this legislation.
Okay? So I am speaking about, so the mayor conducts these meetings. Whenever outsiders view these meetings, these give citizens, business owners, and neighboring cities a sense of what they can expect from Willow Park. And we've become an embarrassment.
I'm done. We're done. He just told you not to do that, Amy.
The mayor conducts.
You know, we need to move on. We have business to take care of.
Oh, really?
Yes, we
Oh,
do,
we're
Amy.
gonna get
Thank you.
business.
Go ahead, Fritz. You can help.
Yeah, we're going to have to ask you to leave. Respectfully, please.
Okay, next we have
I would like
Kenny
to make a
Webb.
motion that we take a few things out of order, put public comments to the end of our regular agenda items prior to going into closed session, so we can get some business done.
Okay, so you want them to wait till right before executive session?
Yeah, we can do
You're
it before we
thinking?
go into executive, I think.
I'll second.
Okay, I'm sorry. Y'all are just going to have to sit here. Let's move on. Consent agenda. Oh, sorry. Motion, second. Somebody wants to make a second?
Scott
Did.
Already
And
made a
then
second.
all in favor, raise your hands. There you go. Okay. Consent agenda. Item 2, to approve regular city council meeting minutes for February 10th and the 24th. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the regular city council meeting minutes dated February 10th, 2026 and February 24th, 2026.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, moving on. Number 3. Item 3 is to discuss and act on a presentation from Snow Garrett and Williams Certified Public Accountants with our annual financial report for the fiscal year ending in September 2025. Please step forward. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Rita Long. I'm a senior manager with Snow Garrett Williams. We're just down the road in Weatherford.
I'm going to go through the maroon packet on your desk up there. This is our annual financial report for the year ended September 30th, 2025. I'm going to try to make this quick. I know you'll have a lot to get through tonight, but please stop me at any time if you have any questions. I could go on about numbers forever, and that would be really boring for everyone. So we will start on page 2 of your packet. That is our opinion. So the first paragraph of that letter states that we have audited the financial statements for the year ended September 30th, 2025. And in that second paragraph, we state that the financial statements are presented fairly in all material respects. So that's the clean or unmodified audit opinion that you're looking for. And that's the highest level of assurance that we can offer. So if there's one takeaway from my presentation, it's a clean audit opinion this year. Going forward to page 5, that is management's discussion and analysis. I won't go through this in detail tonight, but I always like to point this out to council. It's a really good overview of fiscal year 25 results with comparisons to fiscal year 24, and it's in more of a narrative format than the financial statements that we're about to look at. So if the wall of numbers is overwhelming to you, I would point you to management's discussion and analysis, and that will really walk you through each of our financial statements. Now on page 17, this is the balance sheet of the governmental funds. So that's the general fund, which is the main operating fund, and then we also have the debt service fund, roads capital projects fund, some other smaller governmental funds, and then a totaling column over at the right. I'm just going to hit the high point. Total assets at September 30th, 2025 were about $7.2 million. Total liabilities were about $1.4 million. And deferred inflows of resources, which is just a fancy way to say revenue you'll earn in the future, of about $439,000, gets us a total fund balance of about $5.4 million. Of that, just under $4 million is unrestricted, or unassigned, I'm sorry. And this is available for any future expenditures at management or council's discretion. It's the city's primary operating reserve, so it's essentially your cushion for any revenue shortfalls, emergencies, and to fund any future services or future purchases without the need to take on additional debt. That's a really healthy fund balance, especially for a city of this size. We like to see that. It's important for bond ratings and then just to be able to weather some fluctuations. The remaining about $1.5 million of your fund balance is restricted for specific purposes. So that's mainly your hotel occupancy tax funds, roads, capital projects, and debt service. On the next page, that's our statement of revenues, expenses, and changes in fund balances. So this is again for those governmental funds. We have total revenues of about $8.8 million, which is up about $700,000 from the previous year, mainly due to property taxes and sales taxes. Total expenditures of about $9.8 million, and some other financing sources, so that includes the proceeds from a tax note that was issued, and then some other sales of capital assets and things like that, to give us a net change in fund balance, or the net income, if you will, of the governmental funds of about $860,000. No questions, we'll go forward to page 20. So this is similar statements for your proprietary funds, which is your water, wastewater, and solid waste. So total assets of about $63 million, total liabilities of about $46 million, to get us a total net position of about $16.9 million, and your unrestricted portion of that is just about $7.5 million. So again, that's to fund future purchases. On the next page, that's the income statement of those proprietary funds. So total operating revenue of about $5.2 million was up just a little bit from the prior year. Total operating expenses of about $4.8 million, which were down just a little bit from the prior year. So both of those are moving in the right direction to give us operating income of about $370,000. Then we have some non-operating revenues and expenses, investment earnings, and interest expense. And then I wanted to point out this capital contributions section. So there's one that's new, that's different this year, I guess. Capital contributions of about $1.4 million. We like to call that out separately. It's separately stated on the financial statement. So this is the additional money that Hudson Oaks paid y'all to expand the wastewater treatment plant. That's not a revenue that we would expect to ever repeat, and so that's why we like to put it sort of off to the side by itself so that we're not thinking that that's part of our revenues that are going to be earned every year. So all of that gives us a change in net position or the net income of about $1.8 million. If we take out those capital contributions, our change in net position is about $50,000 or so, which is really comparable to the prior year. So all in all, the operations were pretty similar. Questions? I know it's so much information to go over at once.
You're doing great.
Thank you. The very last thing I just want to touch on, it's at the very end of your packet. It's page 65, and it's on our Snow Garrett Williams letterhead. As part of our audit, we also review internal controls over financial reporting and compliance with certain laws and regulations. I'm happy to report we didn't identify any deficiencies in internal controls, and we didn't identify any non-compliance that we needed to bring to your attention tonight. So all in all, a clean report card for the city this year. I know this was Andy's first year to do everything with Candy retiring. I don't know. And it's a lot. We come in and we ask a lot of questions. Tony did a great job stepping into with Brian not being here, since he was the one in charge of everything that happened this year. And now we're asking her, why did this change? What was this for? They all did a great job and really great to work with. So we appreciate y'all. We appreciate your business.
And Michelle.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Good job.
Hey, do we have any discussion? Okay, is there a motion? Is there a motion to approve the report?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the audit as presented.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay, thank you. Moving on. Item 4, to discuss and act on a water conservation impact fee credit.
Mayor Palmer, we're going to table this one. We weren't quite ready for that. We didn't get the information in time.
Okay, so we're tabling number 4.
We need a motion to table.
Anybody want a motion to table 4?
I'll make a motion to table item number 4.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay, we're tabling 4, moving on. Item 5, to discuss and act on approval of a contract increase for city prosecutor Ashley McSwain. We have Ms. Lowe. Yes?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, Mayor, Council. I'm Michelle Lowe. I'm the court administrator, for those of you who do not know me. This is Ashley McSwain. She is our prosecutor. We're here tonight asking for approval of the professional service agreement with Ms. McSwain. She's been with the municipal court since 2018. She does an excellent job moving her cases effectively through the court. She's asking, well, it's part of her agreement, she's asking for $250 more than what she's getting now. She has been here since 2018 and has not received a pay increase since then. So therefore, we are asking for council to approve this agreement this evening. And the agreements are in your packet. If you have any questions, she's more than welcome to answer them.
250 more
A month.
a month?
Yes, ma'am,
Oh,
sorry.
okay, gotcha, thank you. Any discussion? Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept it as presented with the additional $250 per month.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? You got it. Thank you very much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Thank you. Okay, item 6 is to discuss and act on approval of advance funding agreement, AFA, for Transportation Alternative Grant. Mandy McCarley, are you presenting?
Mayor Palmer, we're going to table that one also.
Okay.
That was the, with the TxDOT, and they changed the numbers inside the chart, so that needed to be received from them yet. So we're going to table that until the 24th as well.
Okay, who wants to make a motion to table that one?
Make a motion, we table item 6.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, we're rushing out of here for the storm. Okay. Item 7 is to discuss and act on approval of Barco Land Company Development Agreement. I requested numerous times on this agenda to have Tractor Supply Company on it, to let our residents know what's coming to town. Our attorney did approve that verbally when we went over the agreement, but it did not make it on the agenda. The difference is the company name is written on including in the DA, and it's also in the packet that was attached. So our citizens already know that because they see that, and also the design logo is on there. And we're very excited to have Tractor Supply come to Willow Park.
Mayor Palmer?
So go right ahead.
I apologize. As we had discussed, that we don't have Tractor Supply in here because that's not a done deal yet. So although that is on the exhibit,
It is.
this agreement is with the property owner, not with Tractor Supply. So
Okay, it's in the
that-
packet, so everyone already read
It is,
that.
yes, it's in the packet as the exhibit. So
Yes.
the cat's kind of out of the bag in
It is.
what we prepared for it, but that has not been consummated yet, so.
Okay, so
in
it's
its
not
entirety.
consummated. If we're lucky, we'll get Tractor Supply, as it is in our packet.
Yes.
So,
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The applicant, Barco Land Company, approached the city for annexation of their property that is located south of Bankhead Highway and Willow Bend. This 7.29-acre tract is proposed for annexation and is comprised of 2 lots. So I have a tract up there that is one of the exhibits, that is the plat. And then here is the aerial view of where the location is. It's across from AAI and over by Cassidy Jones. There's a difference in your DA draft, as the city attorneys have added the municipal services agreement draft that will have to be presented at another time, but it is in there for your viewing. And then also, there's a highlighted section regarding the future city right-of-way dedication on Willow Bend Court. Hold on, let me go to that. The Willow Bend Court right-of-way was previously dedicated to the county by separate instrument, and this will take administrative steps to move forward with dedication. After conversations with the developer and the county attorney, the developer is confident about moving forward as presented. The developer is here for any questions if you have any further. That's Grant Reed.
I do have a question. If y'all are planning on using the dark sky lighting that Wilkes used for developing the shops, the district, do y'all have that planned so you can be aware of your neighbors? Or tell me about that.
My name's Grant Reed. I'm with Barco Land. Most of y'all probably know Bryson. He couldn't make it tonight, so I'm here on his behalf. So as this works, we are the landowner in this project. We are looking to annex the property, bring services in, and then we work with special clients, specific clients like Tractor Supply. So at the end of the day, we are not in control of any of the vertical construction. We are solely looking to annex in the 2 lots, provide the utilities right-of-ways, and then in the event that things go right, Tractor Supply will close and purchase the property, and then they'll go through the Site Plan Development Act process with y'all as they're submitting their construction plans. We won't have any control over that on our end.
So it's up to them.
Yes, as they submit that, y'all will have to approve their plans and construction
Okay.
process, but that's just, we're strictly on the horizontal side, so
Okay.
we don't go over.
And we can ask them when they're coming in,
Yes,
which would be great.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you very much.
no problem.
Any other discussion? Okay. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve of the Barco Land Company LLC development agreement as stated.
I second.
All in favor? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, number 8 is discuss and act on a non-disclosure agreement for confidential meetings with the city. We don't have Andy here, but we have Fritz. Fritz is just going to elaborate on this for us. What other cities are using this? So talk to us about that.
So I'm going to tell you exactly which cities, but essentially in the course of being either employed by the city or an elected official by the city, and certainly in economic development type negotiations, sometimes officials and employees are exposed and become privy to information that's not intended to be for public consumption. And so a lot of times, it's in everyone's best interest that the official and/or employee that's going to be given this information sign a non-disclosure agreement. And I know this is a little bit like what we talked about, or y'all talked about, I think it was a month ago, maybe, about the council members' right of access to public information. This is a little different, it's broader. And essentially it provides, if you're going to be exposed to this kind of information, that you have to promise not to disclose it. And it's limited to very specific types of information. So in other words, you have to be verbally told that it's confidential or private or proprietary, or it has to be marked as confidential or proprietary. So that's essentially what it is. And yeah, any questions?
Yes. So this form that you're asking of us, this is not on the day-to-day emails, communication, all of that. It's more so like when we have like the litigation that's going on, things like that.
That is one way to employ this particular document, yes.
Okay.
Essentially, if you're going to be given documents or privileged or confidential information concerning an ongoing lawsuit, we might want to have the official or the employee that's privy to the information sign that.
Okay.
It's just an added layer of protection.
Okay. What's the difference in this one and this one?
So, as I said earlier, the one that was discussed, I believe, about a month ago about the amendment to the Public Information Act. So, it is always said, the Public Information Act has always said that city council members and officials of government bodies have a special right of access to public information.
Right.
So, but when that happens, we don't want, if it's something that's confidential as a matter of law, then we don't want that city council member or official going out and disseminating the information. So the legislature codified some provisions that essentially say the council can require an official to sign this document to promise that they won't further disclose any information that they have access to. The official that's requesting the information has the right to appeal that determination to the Attorney General, and if they disagree with what the Attorney General says, they can further appeal that to District Court in Travis County. So essentially it's just, you can see the confidential information, you can inspect it, but if you disclose that to anybody else, there's penalties under this agreement. And if you disagree with the city's determination that that information requesting is actually confidential, you can appeal that to the AG and then to courts.
And these two different agreements, I guess,
So
I don't understand.
this is very narrow, and this is just talking about the Public Information Act.
Okay.
This is more broad,
Okay.
and it's just anything that's disclosed, whether it's verbal, written, or otherwise.
So sensitive information, this is the one that we're all going to sign, not that one.
This one has to do with the right of special access that officials have. So city council members have a special right of access
Right,
to public information, even if it's confidential.
right.
So it says if you're going to have confidential information, you have to sign this agreement before we let you see it. This is more broad, and it can apply not only to city council members, but also to city employees, contractors, people that are engaged in negotiations with the city. We can ask them to sign this to keep them from disclosing that information.
So this is more
is-
sensitive information is what you're trying to, you're not doing everything where we have to do this in every discussion we ever have, right?
No.
Gotcha. Okay, so these are the two forms that we're going to sign.
And this would be, excuse me,
Right.
to interrupt, sorry, that was not my intent. This would be more for if someone came in and requested this of us. This isn't something that we're going to talk about the next item on the agenda. Everybody sign this and move on. It's going to be something that, say, a developer wanted to have something kept confidential for trade secrets, or if there was a case to review an employee file that may contain confidential information. Is that focused more on a case-by-case when it's going to be requested, or is this a blanket NDA that covers any and all confidential?
I think that's up to the council's discretion. It's certainly drafted to be broad enough such that it could be signed once and
Okay.
applied generally. And essentially just says, I mean, you're going to be put on notice. I mean, if you're handed something that's stamped confidential or proprietary, you know you can't copy it or take it out or disseminate it.
So if we're sending an email that says confidential, that's when it applies.
That's correct. That's correct.
Right?
It can apply to that, yes. So you can sign this tonight, everyone, or the council can decide to just employ this on a case-by-case basis. It's flexible in that regard.
I like the case by case, but
My only pause is the verbal, the verbal accusation, or the verbal discussion piece where you said if it's verbally distinctive as confidential versus in writing. You mentioned that when you were talking about it.
Right. So y'all all have copies, so if you look down, the paragraph that's enumerated number 1, and essentially, this is the categories of information that are protected. Information received by an associate, which can be a city council member, an employee, or anybody, in conjunction with their association with Willow Park, about which Willow Park has verbally described or designated in writing as confidential or proprietary. So the verbal portion of this is someone essentially tells you that this information that we're giving you or you're being exposed to is confidential, proprietary.
So like an
So it's not, I mean,
executive session.
sure, absolutely.
Which that guideline's set, though. My worry is that it can be stated at any point in time that I said that was confidential if shared, and we don't have any proof because it was a verbal relation versus written.
Well, sometimes, I mean, you could limit this agreement to just written information that's designated confidential, proprietary in writing, but I'm not sure what utility that might have for
Yeah.
verbal information you're exposed to,
Okay.
or unwritten information.
Okay.
So that's the problem.
Yeah, I would think sitting in on, say, a developer's meeting or sitting in on an open court case, or if you're in litigation or mediation between different sides, you would be hearing everything as verbal argument at that point, and there would be no way to restrict. So my read on it would be that verbal would apply to those situations as well.
Gotcha.
so case by case is kind of what we're talking about.
Chris, does that apply even if it's like staff meetings or internal meetings as well?
It
I mean,
can.
if it's, in my opinion, if it's not public, it's private.
That's correct.
So would that not apply to everything that's discussed that's not a public quote-unquote meeting?
I'm sorry, say that again, a little slower. It's
Any-
been a long day.
Yes, I apologize.
Yeah.
If it's not a public meeting that's posted where we have public in attendance, is that not considered private? That would be any city
If
conversation.
a member of the public is in the meeting,
No, if the public is not in the meeting, is not posted as a public meeting to have the public attend the meeting, is that not considered private?
it could be yes.
Okay, so like our staff meetings and any internal meetings in which we are involved, they would also be private. So therefore, they would be confidential, correct?
So long as it's designated verbally or in writing as confidential or proprietary information.
I see. Thank you.
I think this should be used sparingly and in a very limited fashion.
Right.
That's just my opinion. So,
Okay.
Yeah, not too broad or, wow. So do y'all want to make a motion on a case-by-case basis to use this document? Anybody have a motion?
I think that makes the most sense, starting out, if we decide that we need to rein it into a more tightly encompassing. I think, too, that if it is more of a blanket coverage, we could sign it once and then be covered as well. So I don't see the harm in signing and going that way, but if we want to start with a case by case where it is requested, I think that's to start
Right.
on the safer side of things and then work our way on the other.
Okay, we have a second?
All right, I'll do that more officially. I'll make a motion to accept the confidentiality and non-disclosure agreements as presented to be used on a case-by-case basis.
Okay, now do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Okay, 4-1, passes.
All
Okay.
opposed?
One opposed?
2.
I missed it. Sorry,
Opposed.
2 opposed. Okay, 3 or 4, 2 opposed, so it passes, right? Item 9 is to discuss and act on approval of a policy and sponsorship request application regarding hotel occupancy tax, hot funds. Rose is back to do that tonight.
Yes, she is. Good evening, everyone. What you have before you is the item that we were originally going to discuss at our last meeting. I'd like to give a thank you to Interim City Manager Fisher for postponing this until I was able to be here. We basically have 3 documents here. We have the policy, we have a related ordinance, and then we have the application itself. These all follow the procedures. We've worked with the city attorneys to make sure that we're well within the bounds of state law on this. So they're there for your review, and I will take any questions that you guys have.
Anyone have a discussion?
I want to say thank you, Rose, for putting all this together. It's very good. Excellent job.
Thank you.
Agreed.
Okay.
Were there any metrics or anything that we could highlight? I know like some of the things are more difficult to track than others. What were some of the, like,
What kind of metrics are we using, like our rubric, that sort of thing?
right, that show like, I guess if you saw an event and we're checking hotel data after the events to verify that we saw an influx in overnight stays during this time or something along those lines.
So I'm still looking at how we can pull that data and how we can look at those numbers, but I have found that with a couple of the people we've had conversations with, the Promise and the district specifically, they were able to provide some of that data already of some
Okay.
of the traffic influx and flow that they're bringing in for what they do. So that's sort of the rubric we're getting it against right now while we still kind of get our feet under us on the process.
Okay, and assuming that we'll be reaching out to the hotels as well to see if that is.
I do plan to establish a connection with them, yes,
Okay,
sir.
good deal. Just wanted to make sure on that as well.
Okay, is there a motion to pass the policy?
Fritz, do we need an ordinance number on this?
Yeah, well, it can be supplied after the fact, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please
We can do it.
do. Hold on just a sec. I can get it.
So we're not going to vote on it tonight till you get an ordinance? Is that what you want to do?
We have an ordinance.
she can give us the
We can put a
number.
number after the fact.
Let's see. Yes, it will be number 934-26.
Okay. Now is there a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance 934-26, an ordinance of the City of Willow Park, Texas, amending the City of Willow Park Code of Ordinances, Chapter 11, Taxation, Article 11.04, hotel, excuse me, hotel occupancy tax by adding 11.04.008, use of revenue from the hotel occupancy tax, providing for repeal, providing for savings and severability, providing for publication, establishing an effective date.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? 5.
Yay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, you're not moving yet. Item 10, discuss and act approval of sponsorship application from hotel occupancy. What's the difference in these two?
So the first one, we approved the general guidelines and policy. This is an actual application that we have had submitted. So per the guidelines of the policy, we've had an application submitted, and I am bringing it to council for approval. So on that note, our first official application, now that we have got this approved, is from the district. And they are doing a absolutely phenomenal lineup this year for events. And to me, it feels like a no-brainer for us to participate in that. The visibility and the benefits we'll receive from our sponsorship dollars are pretty significant. There was a sponsorship packet in your packet that basically talks about all the things we would get for the sponsorship. We did meet with Wilkes Development and have a really good conversation with them about what they're planning on bringing and the amount of visitors that are coming in, how far those visitors are coming from, a lot of those things. And we just feel like this is, I talked to Jake about, how much can we spend a year? What do we feel comfortable with? So this is the amount that they've proposed, and I feel comfortable with that amount. So the application is here for y'all's review. We also have Kyle and Nicole and Tabitha from Wilkes here if y'all have any questions for them. So just let me know what you need from us.
Do y'all have questions?
This is to cover the full scope of the lineup for the rest of the year?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, I, for one, want to say how much I've enjoyed the district and the music and everything they have at the district. So as Willow Park, having a music venue and the businesses, I mean, we were sad to lose one, but hopefully that will be replaced and stay busy. So I do want to say that as Willow Park is a sponsor for them, we're very excited about that.
I think it's a fantastic opportunity for us.
It is. Anybody else have any discussion? No? Okay, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the sponsorship application from the District of Willow Park, an open-air mixed-use development with restaurants, retail, amphitheater for hotel occupancy tax for the $20,000 level.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Going
One more
over the
with
second
me.
one, the
Yes, ma'am.
promise? Okay,
Yes, that makes 2 this year. Yes, ma'am.
perfect.
That's all for that item.
Okay. We
But
need
I'm
to
here-
go ahead and vote on the promise then?
Oh,
We already
that
did
one's
it?
already been approved. Yes, ma'am.
So you did that one, you're done. Okay. Thank you, Rose, very much.
Well, I've got one more item, so that's
Oh,
why I'm
you're
still
sorry.
hanging out. Yes,
I
ma'am.
was cutting you off. I'm sorry, go
No,
ahead.
you're fine. If you want to close this out and move on to the next item, that's what the rest of my stuff is.
Okay. So number 11.
Yes, ma'am.
To discuss and act on the trademark application and brand guidelines. Rose is presenting it, and you can explain what prompted this and whether the city's already had a policy on logo usage. Where have we been, and when did we submit a trademark application, and what prompted us to do that? You can tell us all that, I bet.
I sure will. Let me start at the beginning. We submitted our trademark application in February of 2025. It was just part of the natural process that we were taking as far as establishing our city brand and getting kind of our legal protections in place. At the time the application was submitted, I did it without the assistance of an attorney, which I have learned that was probably not the best choice. We did get the application back about 3 weeks ago with a number of amendments that the Secretary of State wants us to make before it is finalized. So I have been working with Messer Port to get those amendments finalized. There were some particular legalese languages and things that I didn't get quite right. So Judy and I have met. We're going to resubmit the application back to them with our changes. We are expecting the trademark to be approved at that point. But that does bring me to part of our other discussion, which is some things that council had requested. They wanted to know if we had any type of logo usage guidelines.
Can I throw something in?
Yes, sir.
Is this a time if we were going to rebrand where we could do that with some new logo or something fancy?
Well, so let me circle back to that because I love that question a lot.
Okay.
And I want to give that question the answer it deserves, but I want to get through this little part of it first. We have had a policy in place since 2023 relating to our logo use and guidelines. It has not been approved by council. It was something that we improved internally on a staff level when I was creating the strategic plan for the communications department in 2022 and 2023. So we have a style and brand guideline that basically talks about appropriate logo usage, colors, fonts, all the deeply nerdy stuff that really matters only to me. But it makes us look really nice and polished, and it creates credibility. Brand consistency equals credibility in my world, and really in the world of it too. So basically, I included the style and brand guidelines in the packet so that you guys could see what we have been following as a policy. And it basically says, here's how you can use the logo, here's how you can't use the logo, here's what our deliverables like business cards look like, here's how our name tags look, here's how everybody's email signature can look, so that we're unified across the board. It also basically says that anything that is going to be published publicly that has the city logo on it has to go through my office for approval, with the exception of like our letterhead. Obviously, I don't need to see every letter that goes out on the city letterhead, but if you're creating, say, a flyer or something for public distribution, that has to go through my office for approval, so I can ensure that it fits with the city's level of integrity, and I can make sure that it fits our brand voice. So on that note, that's why I included this for you guys, so you have a chance to review it. Circling back to the rebrand question, I have made no secret of the fact that I do not like our logo. I feel like our logo is very dated looking, and I do not think it reflects the character of our community. And I certainly do not think it reflects the vision that we have for Willow Park going forward, which is a city that is modern, that is up to date, and that is professional. So I think we're long overdue for a rebrand. There would be a cost involved. I can probably create a strategy that would keep that cost as minimal as possible. If that is something that you guys are interested in talking about, we can 100% make that a future agenda item, and I can come back to you guys with a presentation of exactly what that would look like.
So I think we've already talked about that,
Yes,
and I
ma'am.
like the idea.
I do too.
I would love nothing more than to come back and present on this.
Okay. So when are you and Judy going to get through with the trademark
So
application?
Judy and I met on Friday, and there were a couple of very specific things that she wanted to research to make sure that when we resubmit, we get it perfect this time. So she and I are supposed to talk again on Monday. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and make the other edits that she and I spoke about, and go ahead and have everything ready except for those little minor things she wanted to look at. So we should resubmit next week. I don't know how long it will take them to respond.
So does that make sense to go ahead and be spending the money on the old logo when you're
We've
trying to
already
work on the
spent the
new one?
$50 that it costs to trademark.
That's all it was?
Yes, ma'am. And we've already.
So we just kind of protect it now,
It
and then
will-
we will
yes.
actually do another one
Yes, ma'am.
that we'll be working on?
And I think it is still worth the effort to go ahead and trademark the old logo.
Okay.
Because we still want to protect our brand, right? And we want to make sure that we don't have, I know we had an incident last year where a very, very well-meaning person used the city logo in a way that wasn't necessarily the right way. And certainly we have no resentment for well-meaning individuals. But that's not to say that a bad actor from outside our community cannot come in and slap our logo on something and try to pretend they're us, and we want to prevent that. So I think it's absolutely imperative that we trademark the old logo as well, because we don't want anybody trying to come in and pretending they're us.
Okay. So do we have a motion to go forward and do the trademark application?
Rose, do we need to wait before we take action to make sure that y'all are finalized, or are we okay with moving? You tell me.
Well, I'm not entirely sure what the motion is that we're considering. Mayor Palmer, are you looking for a motion to move forward with resubmitting the trademark application on this logo?
We can table it until you and Judy finish if you want to. That's fine, then bring it back. You want to
Whatever
do that?
action, yeah, whatever action you guys want is fine with me. Judy and I are going to go ahead and get everything final and ready to rock and roll. And then we can come back and talk about it again. As a matter of fact, we can talk about that when we have the rebrand conversation at the next meeting.
Do you have a
That's
timeline?
what's
Do you have a timeline you're working with Judy on this? Like, do you-
We will probably have the application this resubmitted or ready for resubmittal next week.
So we can do it at the next meeting
Yes, ma'am,
possibly?
we certainly could.
Are y'all okay with that, tabling that? Okay, on tabling it, do we have a motion?
Make a motion that we table it to the next regular session meeting.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Good job, Rose.
Thank
We'll
you,
wait
ma'am.
to hear back from you. Okay, item 12 is to discuss the emergency management program and establish a new team. I put this one on the agenda. It's an item I requested after realizing I was excluded, as we talked about before, for a lot of the emergency management coordination when we had the ice storm. I didn't even know that we closed Kingsgate until I actually called Jason Lane of our Parker County Emergency Coordinator. So I had just called to check in with him, what's going on, and he's the one that told me Kingsgate was closed. So I became aware all of a sudden that we have an emergency management team when I studied an after-action report provided by our Marshal Charlie Schneider in the agenda packet. I then reviewed our city code, state law, and my TML handbook to find that the mayor is the director of emergency management. So I requested a copy of most recent updated and approved emergency management plan from Tony. one of our city managers right now. Willow Park, and she told me in the email that Willow Park uses the established at the county level, and that plan has been in place since 2021. So looking into that, I have City Code 1.07.034, Operational Organization Emergency Management Plan. The Operational Emergency Management Organization of the city shall consist of the officers and employees of the city so designated by the director, which is the mayor, and the management and emergency management plan, as well as organized volunteer groups. The functions and duties of this organization shall be distributed among such officers and employees in accordance with the terms of the emergency management plan. Such plan shall set forth the form of the organization, establish and designate divisions and functions, assign task, duties, and powers, and designate officers and employees to carry out the provisions of this division. Insofar as possible of the form of organization, titles and terminology shall conform to the recommendations of the State Division of Emergency Management and of the federal government. So we don't have any action. There's no action required on this item. Action I wanted to take tonight would be possibly including the police chief to be involved. I intend to continue to review the county's emergency plan that was provided to me last week and how well it aligns with our code. I'll make determination on this and follow up with staff and hopefully include the police chief on this. So I guess we're going to move on since we don't have any action on this one. We're going to go back to public comments. Skipping around there, y'all. Okay, so right now we have Carol Wagner.
Good evening, Carol Wagner, 328 Fairway Drive. I have observed three factors that differentiate the City Council from a vocal, well-organized group of citizens who are now represented by three candidates running for City Council in the May 2026 election. Number one, accountability. This City Council, our representative government body, you are accountable to the residents of Willow Park. Citizen groups are not accountable to city residents. Number two, information. City Council has access to a substantial amount of relevant information used in making decisions, information from within the city and outside sources as well. Some of this information is proprietary or confidential. Information is not as readily available to citizen groups. And number three, constituency represented. You are representatives at large, so you're able to receive a wide variety of opinions on issues. Your aim is to do what is best for the majority of the citizens and the city of Willow Park, both in the short and the long term. In contrast, this citizen group is composed of like-minded people. In my research, I found a common concern about citizen groups is that they do not necessarily represent the majority of citizens. They are focused on their own agendas and goals. These three factors were on full display during the February 10th City Council meeting, where the issuance of certificates of obligation for the Squaw Creek project was to occur. This was one of the final steps in the process, and construction was going to begin in a few months. Squaw Creek project was killed by a petition, which was created and administered by the leadership of this citizen group. They used a provision in state law, referendum, as a means of control. It was a carefully planned decision and a flexing of political power. Did the author of the petition, did the petition committee, and most importantly, did the people who signed the petition know the following? That the petition was submitted with no time for verification, no time for the City Council to add an agenda item where the issuance of bonds would be included in the May 2026 election? That Squaw Creek Road is one of the longest and one of the oldest streets in Willow Park and has inadequately installed water lines? That Squaw Creek Road is structurally and functionally deficient? That in 2024 and 2025, over 1.8 million gallons of water were lost in 6 separate leaks, the largest leak in 2024 taking months to locate, and more leaks are likely to occur. That everyone who is on city water pays for this water loss through the water rates. We are paying for production and treatment of water and paying time and labor of employees, equipment, and repair parts. That reconstruction of Squaw Creek Road and 5 other side streets, the water line replacement and ditch and culvert improvements are deemed critical by the city, and their condition will only deteriorate and become more expensive with time. That $350,000 in engineering work was done and paid for because the Municipal Investment Bank requires it before funding the project. Funding does not come before engineering. That $21,000 was paid by the city for a rate call. That February 10th was a great day to issue certificates of obligation since interest rates had fallen and their issuance coincided with the dropping off of city debt in 2027. That postponing or starting the project over at some future date exposes the city to interest rate risk. If interest rates go up by 0.5%, the city will pay an additional $500,000 to $600,000 in interest. That killing Squaw Creek project will delay and most likely increase the cost of many other needed road projects. The killing of the Squaw Creek project is reprehensible. Responsibility for this and the negative consequences belongs to the leaders of this citizen group. This was also a trial run for initiative, referendum, and recall. We have now seen that what referendum looks like in real life. I was enlightened to see those 3 factors: no accountability, insufficient information, and narrowly focused goals permeated the entire process. The weakest link in the referendum process is this: what verbal information was given to people to persuade them to sign the petition? We now have ample evidence that referendum can be used to cause damage and disrupt normal city business. I ask you to resurrect Squaw Creek
Carol,
project.
we need to wrap it up. You've been 5 minutes.
I'm almost finished. The city council and the city employees have made prudent decisions throughout the process. We should not allow a small group of people to sabotage the carefully planned work.
Thank you, Carol.
That city employees and
We need
others
to move
brought to
on.
the point of delivery.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, we have Shannon Brown signed up to speak.
Shannon Brown, 201 Chuck Wagon Trail. I'd like to begin by saying that I've got no intention of making public comments on a regular basis. I promise that is not, I don't want to. However, when issues arise that concern me, I will continue to speak up. At the last meeting, a Willow Park citizen was removed while speaking during public comments, and my understanding is that the city adopted decorum rules somewhere between 16 and 19, I don't know, it doesn't matter. Those including those that apply to citizens and visitors. And after listening back to the comments that were made, I'm going to talk about last time's meeting, I did not hear any profanity or statements that appeared to be knowingly false. I would caution the council against actions that could be perceived as silencing citizens. Serving on the council requires having thick skin and maintaining strong emotional control, particularly when hearing criticism from the public. There have been occasions when citizens have spoken out critically about other members of the council and were allowed to continue speaking even beyond their 5 minutes. To my knowledge, I do not recall another instance where a citizen was removed during public comments. I'm not an expert, but based on my limited search, Texas law specifically protects public rights to criticize city officials during meetings, even strongly. Cities can enforce decorum rules, but they cannot use them to silence criticism. Texas Open Meeting Act's FAQ question 52. May a city council prevent the public from criticizing the council or its actions? A city council may not prohibit a member from the public from criticizing the council, including criticizing any act, omission, policy, procedure, program, or services. However, this does not apply to public criticism that is otherwise prohibited by law. What public criticism is prohibited by law remains to be seen. Defamation would probably fall under that prohibition. In any case, the city council should be able to enforce a decorum policy for public speakers so long as it doesn't prohibit criticism. That is the FAQ. Those are not my words. For that reason, I would ask that our city attorney, you or our other, advise the council on potential First Amendment concerns when a citizen is removed and not allowed to finish speaking. If there's any possibility that our current practices could infringe upon the free speech rights of Willow Park citizens, I believe that it would be appropriate for the council to review the policies currently in place. I've added a couple of things because of what happened today. I personally know Amy Fennell. I've known her for a decade. Her youngest daughter and my oldest daughter, along with some of y'all, I know her personally. She's very spicy, might not be everyone's cup of tea. I like her. I've never known her to be a liar, ever. And I've known her 13 years, I think. The public comments, in the same decorum rules, everyone else here has to follow the same rules of the people up here. If we're going to follow the rules that we currently have in play, if there's disruptions happening back here, we should be calling those out as well. I don't really like that. I think that all public citizens should be able to speak and say what needs to be said, but we need to handle it consistently. The next thing I want to say to the council, y'all can overrule her by a majority vote. If y'all want to silence someone else, since that seems to be what we're doing, if y'all are taking undue punishment or treatment from other people, use the code we've got, even if I don't like it. That's all I have to say.
Thank you very much. Would you like to address that? Specifically, why?
No, I don't want to address it.
You don't?
No, not at all.
I think you already have. Okay, we've already gone over that.
Don't.
Good? Okay, we're going to move on. Next, we have Kenny Webb.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and City Council, and to everyone here tonight. My name is Kenny Webb. I live on Kingsgate Road at the top of the hill, 813. I've been a member of this community for almost 30 years. I've watched us go from no traffic light to one full-time police officer to where Brookshires was on this side of the road. And I'm happy to be part of this community. And I've watched it grow. And I care about this community. But I'm here to address the speeding problem on Kingsgate Road. It's been a problem the whole time I've lived there for almost 30 years. I have called the on-duty police officer numerous times to asking for enforcement. I have never noticed any enforcement, nor have I noticed any change in the issue. But since the road has been repaved, it's become a highway and unsafe. I mean, it's unsafe to take a walk in my own community, or for someone to walk their dog, or for a child, or for a kid to ride their bicycle. I've had my mailbox taken out a few times over the years, but since it's been repaved, I got to keep my head on a swivel just to go out to retrieve the mail. A few months back, shortly after they repaved the road, I was almost broadsided, on the driver's side, just pulling out of my driveway, by an individual that was cresting the hill already at a high rate of speed and powering up. Didn't see me in time. He had to leave the road to avoid me. And of course, I get the finger. But I could have been seriously injured or worse, and my car would have been demolished. But It's only a 4/10 of a mile stretch of road between Castlemount and Royalville. And I just don't understand the need for people to have to power up to a high rate of speed, only to have to brake hard a few seconds later. I don't understand. Speeding through that community is, in my opinion, it's not only speeding, it's reckless driving. And I would hope that any police officer that cites anybody up there would also check the reckless driving box on the citation, because that's what it is. It's reckless driving. I mean, going 10% or more out here on the interstate gets you a citation. These people are doing 60 and 70% over the speed limit up there. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, not only are they speeding, some vehicles with loud mufflers, it disturbs the peace. So I'm proposing that a speed bump be installed halfway between Castlemount and Royalville. And I don't mean the type of speed bump that you find in parking lots where you have to crawl across to get across. I mean a speed bump that's specifically engineered for the speed limit. And if you're doing the speed limit, you know, you're not going to have any issue. But if you're going over the speed limit, it's going to be uncomfortable. And if you're speeding, it's going to be really uncomfortable. I believe it would eliminate the need for any enforcement and make Kingsgate Road safer. Thank you for the time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Webb.
Okay, next we have Preston Galley.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Preston Galley, and I live on 500 Squaw Creek Road. I came here tonight because I care about the city, and I believe the councilmen sitting at this dais are supposed to represent the best of it. But right now, I don't believe that is happening. Public office isn't just a title, it's a responsibility. When someone runs for city council, they're asking the community to trust them, to trust their judgment, honesty, and ability to act like adults when things get difficult. That trust matters and is foundational when it comes to local government. However, the way that I've seen some city council members conduct themselves recently, both online and during meetings, does not mirror that maturity or integrity that this position demands. When elected officials argue publicly with residents, when they spread things that are misleading or simply not true, or when they treat public service like a personal fight instead of a responsibility to the community, it erodes the trust that people place in this governing body. I'm not here tonight because I personally dislike anyone on council. I'm just here because I'm disappointed in it. People in this town work hard. They run businesses, raise families, volunteer, and try to build a community that's worth living in. Yet when I see how our public officials act, I don't see a reflection of that effort and responsibility. Holding public office is knowing how to speak and act professionally, knowing how to verify facts, even when you are frustrated or disagree with someone. You are supposed to set a tone of cooperation instead of criticizing the citizens. And when I witness how the council conducts themselves, I feel like the tone is extremely unprofessional. So tonight, I'm here to say this simply. If you cannot represent the city with maturity, if you cannot communicate honestly and responsibly, if you cannot treat this office with the respect it deserves, then you should step aside and let people more eager to do it. Let people more willing to do it. And that statement is not an attack, it's accountability. Respect is not automatic, it is earned through actions, and personally, I feel like that respect has been lost. Public office should not be about ego, social media arguments, or the spread of questionable information. It should be about service, honesty, and representing the people who live here. But if you can't or simply won't do that, then do the honorable thing and resign. Our city deserves public officials who conduct themselves with integrity and professionalism. Yet right now, I see very little of that sitting before me. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you, Preston. Okay, next we have Houston Wingard.
My name is Houston Wingard. I live at 709 Kingsgate. In fact, I'm just down the road from Kingsgate. I'll be this short and sweet. A couple weeks ago, or a week ago, I was out campaigning, and I was asked by a neighbor if I could help them out with the situation they had in their house. Come to find out that the city of Hudson Oaks was putting in a waste treatment line through her front yard, or through her side yard, and it went right through her driveway. The problem is that when they put the pipe through, they just covered everything up with rock and then didn't replace the culvert that they had placed there years ago. Without that culvert, this house has been flooded twice because the water gets trapped right there above their driveway and it comes down the driveway and right into the house. So I want to have a shout out to Chase McBride. I called him at 9 o'clock in the morning, and by 3 o'clock in the afternoon, that driveway was dug up, a new culvert was installed. They had taken the backhoe and cleaned out the drainage ditch so that water would flow nicely into it and out of it and away from her house. Literally, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I followed up at 5 o'clock to see if anything was been done, and as I'm leaving her property, he's driving up the road to check on it and see if everything was done right. And he saw some things that he didn't like. He went back the next day, followed up with the contractor. Now, this is all Hudson Oaks that's doing the work. It's got nothing to do with Chase, other than the fact he saw a citizen that needed some help. He knew that he had the kind of wherewithal and the kind of contacts to get it done, and he got it done, not just quick, he got it done in a matter of hours. So I just want to say a big shout out to Chase. He knows what it means to take these citizens and do what's right by them, which was absolutely imaginable. In this day and age, it just seemed like to try to pass the buck. And not only did he not pass the buck, he grabbed the bull by the horns and he nailed that bull. I mean, it was absolutely beautiful. So thank you for your time. Thank to Chase. I'm not sorry he wasn't here tonight. I was going to shake his hand personally, but I really did appreciate everything that Hitman did that day. It was pretty cool. Thank you.
Thank you, Houston.
Thank you.
I think if I'm not wrong, isn't Chase one of the longest term? Was he been here 15 years? Mm-hmm. Yep, 15 years, so. Well, look who's walking in the door. You missed it. Good job. Chase, you get to watch the video, right? Thanks, Chase. That was great. That was very nice. All right, let's move forward. Positive, thank you. All right, Bill Green, you're up next.
My name is Bill Green. I live at 224 Vista Drive. We moved here in 1985. There was something else that I was going to talk about this morning, but things that have been talked about, I want to make some comments. Number one, the gentleman that's having the problem with the street. Whenever we first moved here, there weren't a lot of houses on Vista Drive, but Vista was still a drive that a lot of people took. And a lot of people exceeded the speed limit. Well, I have a very long driveway, and I'd go out the end of the driveway and holler at them, try to wave them down, and called, and the police come out and would watch, and nobody would speed whenever they were there. And it just kept going on and going on, and the police department had other things to do, so they quit coming, so I figured out a way to stop them. I threw landscape timbers out in front of them. It caused quite a few people to hit the bar ditch, and other ones swerved, and some would come back and threaten me, and I said, get out of your car. Come on, let's do it. The police finally convinced me that was not a good thing to do, so I stopped throwing landscape timbers.
Yes.
But there's something to think about, my friend. The other thing I want to talk about, is that petition that went around. You know, when Kay and I first decided that we were going to get involved with Willow Park politics, we didn't know how it was. I had attended 2 council meetings several years ago, and that was about it. And whenever we started looking at things and some friends asked us if we would help out with a petition, I studied the petition, saw what it said, saw what it indicated, and I agreed to do that. And whenever we were going around to doing the petitions, everybody that we talked to was ready to sign. They had heard things that had happened from the city council. Now, most of this is from the older city council. We've got guys here that weren't on the council at that time, so they probably didn't know what was going on in some of the things. But the way this petition was set up was just to show the people that this $10 million, where it was supposed to go by word from City Hall and by word from the council, and that was mainly to fix Squaw Creek. If you look at the agenda from, I think it was the 24th of last month, where that was going to be voted on by the city council, down at the bottom it said what all that money was going to be used for, $10 million. It said some streets, it said some sewage, it said some waterways, it said buying land to be able to put in streets and a whole bunch of other things, but never once was there anything mentioned about Squaw Creek on that. So the way that was set up, if it had been voted in, that money could be used for anything. Anything at all. And I had a conversation with a gentleman just this last week, an elderly gentleman that's been around for a very long time here, even longer than what I have. And he reminded me that a while back, and he couldn't remember how far back it was, and I sure didn't either, but we voted in the city to fix Squaw Creek, and it passed. Never a penny one was used to fix Squaw Creek out of that money. You guys may not have even have been on the council here at that time. But by stopping that like it did, you guys may have had the greatest intentions in the world, I don't know. But by stopping that like it did, it made things where it would set back and do things like put it on a ballot. You know, the ballot lets you know how you're doing your job. If you're getting good reviews on a ballot for the things that you put on there that you want to do out of your good heart and your good sense for the city and for the people that are in this city, then it'll show up on the ballot. Don't be afraid of us. We're here. We're here to support you. We're here to give you ideas, and we're here to listen to your ideas. But we're here. We're citizens. We're taxpayers, just like I say every time when I step up here. So watch out for us. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you, Joe. Okay, the last one is Carol Bracken.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. My name's Carol Bracken. My husband Larry and I live at 73 Crown Road, and we've been there for 29 years. On February 10th, this council expressed some legal reservations with the Home Rule Charter presented by the Commission for inclusion on the May 2026 ballot, and used those concerns to then table the charter. I'm here this evening to ask you what has happened since that time. As the council asked Messer & Fort, the law firm that provides city attorney services to the city, to opine on those concerns, have you requested an opinion from the Attorney General's office? To the extent it is determined that your concerns were legitimate, will the City of Willow Park terminate its contract with Messer & Fort to serve as city attorney? Will it seek a reduction in the fees charged by Messer & Fort in providing legal services to the Home Rule Charter Commission? You may recall that at the insistence of the City Council, an attorney from Messer & Fort attended our meetings, and also reviewed the various incarnations of the charter. In fact, Messer Fort did review the charter, and the version that was ultimately presented to the council, they had opined that it was legally compliant. Moreover, when Messer Fort suggested that a handful of last-minute minor corrections be made to the charter, Messer Fort suggested the process that was used and followed in making those changes. If changes are needed, how are they to be drafted since the City Council has dismissed the commission? After all, according to state law, the home rule process remains ongoing until the special election is ordered for it. If, on the other hand, it's determined that the legal concerns were not well-founded and the charter is legally sufficient as drafted, what is the council's timeline to put the charter on the ballot in November? How do you plan to provide an education program to the voters about the charter, which was a task that the commission had planned to undertake? And finally, will the council be issuing a public statement that the process followed by the members of the commission did not violate the Open Meetings Act? As the violation in question would have been a criminal act, I do think that that is the least the city can do. If you do not have answers to these questions today, I would ask that we may know when you plan to give us these answers, because I assure you that these questions are not going to go away. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Okay, the next items on the agenda will be an executive session in accordance with
Mayor
the...
Palmer, excuse me, may I go back to number 12, please? I was prepared to discuss that, but we dismissed that.
Okay, back to 12 was mine, yes?
Please. Yes, please.
Okay, we'll go back to 12. Tony wants to talk about 12.
So I just wanted to correct the fact that you had stated that you did not receive notice regarding the closure of the road, but I don't believe that to be true. So Mr. Schneider also responded to Commander Hamilton via an email on Wednesday, January 21st, that stated that it was attached for the weather update given by City Fire Marshal John Schneider, also known as Charlie. And so in that email was also included Chief Ray Lacy. So he was included in that information, as well as myself and Ms. Gelker. So that sent out to city staff. Following this, it was on Friday, I believe, that was the 23rd.
Yes.
That Chief Lacy had stated that he was inquiring about some information on this. And I believe that you and he were on your way to the county to meet with Jason Lane.
Correct. Yes, we did.
At that time, I had also sent an email to Chief Lacy explaining to him that we had an emergency coordinator, that was Charlie, and also that Michelle Gelker was involved in that team. And then following that, that information went, when they received that information, when Charlie received that information, he gave that to Michelle. He and Michelle would give that, or he directly would give it to Rose Hoffman, who's our communications director.
Correct.
And she would pass that out to the Facebook page and the city channels for the social media to advise the public as to what was happening.
Right.
So he, in fact, knew that we had a coordinator in place and that that information was going to him as well. So that information, when those road closures happened, he sent that out to everyone. So I just want to correct that, is that everyone, including council, was advised of those road closures. And as far as the conditions that were given to him by the county, and I want to commend him that he did exactly what he was supposed to do when he was supposed to do it. And that is thankless. He has been up in the middle of the night waiting on meetings for all of the information from the weather service coming through that is fed to him. That is with no remuneration. He volunteered to do that back in '21, whenever that was necessary. And I just want to give a shout out to him and Michelle and Rose for taking over that responsibility. I also want to draw attention to the fact that your item stated that you were going to select a new team. And so with that, those 3 people had resigned from that position.
Right,
to help
so
out
they're
with
not, they're not going to be coordinating at all
Correct.
anymore, so.
So Chief
Yeah.
Lacy was in fact included in that information, and I understand that he still receives that information via email from the county.
I don't know
So-
that.
He in fact is, still part of that distribution.
Okay,
Mr. Lane, who is with the county,
yes.
sent a message to you apparently on Thursday, March 5th, and asking if you could provide him some clarification. We also had asked if he would be here this evening to state information regarding the county and what all of this entails. He did not receive a response back from you. So he had sent another email over to you this afternoon at 4:26 and said he had not received a response from you.
Jason Lane?
Correct.
Okay, I've talked to Jason Lane, so no, I have not checked my emails this afternoon.
Well, he did not hear back from you as to what you needed from him this evening, and based on the weather event, he was not here.
Right. And I
So-
think we're in good position because we're already under the county. I mean, there's no decision to make. We're under the county, and, you know, what I stated, my position, it's great that Chase has been doing that, and I did get your email that everyone has jumped ship. And at first, I thought everybody was quitting their jobs when I looked at your email, and I thought, okay, we have all these positions open now. But no, they're just not going to coordinate with the mayor, and that is their choice.
Ma'am, you had put that on the agenda, that you were selecting a new team before that was even determined. So-
Right. As a director, I can choose a team. So I really don't want to do this
Okay.
in front of the public. And we really don't have anything to argue about. It's stated, we know what the rules, we know what it is. We are under state and local. We know what it is, so we don't have to argue, Tony, in front of everybody. I don't think we need to do that. I do appreciate Charlie and what he has done, everything that he's done, but that doesn't change where we are now going forward, so I really don't want to argue in front of the council and the citizens.
Mayor, I would just like to throw a caution here on that. We do not have a local team in place currently for the city of Willow Park.
We're under Parker County.
I completely understand
Right.
that, but Charlie spent almost 24 hours working at one point in time to keep the citizens notified, to make roads that's notified and everything else.
He did.
Your complaint is that you weren't notified. If we don't have anybody in place for the city, we won't be notified until the county is notified.
Right, and the county has got to, myself and the county are going to have to do this, because if you don't have anybody, if everybody wants to quit, volunteer positions, there's no recourse for that. Everyone can do what they want to do, and if they don't want to help our citizens, that's fine. And
You're painting that in an incorrect picture.
That's exactly what it is.
No, it's not. You chose
Okay,
to
we
put
can
this as
argue.
an
Go
agenda
ahead.
item. Therefore, you were creating a new team. That is the reason why they resigned from those positions. You were
Because
never
I
even
wanted to
considered.
address the
There
issue.
was no address. You said a new team. Establish a new team.
Well, they were going to be on the team possibly, who would know? I wasn't given a chance to do
Why would we establish a
that.
new team if we have an existing team now?
I'm sorry?
Why would we establish a new team if we have a credentialed existing team now?
Well, I think I've already gone over that
Because
I am the
you didn't read
director.
email? I just want to know why.
Why is because it needed to be established, because apparently we were in 2021, and Charlie said 2022, he was assigned as a director.
Right.
As the mayor, I just read it, and you know, 418 states it, so there's no reason to sit here and argue about it.
Well, ma'am, you had said that you contacted Jason
Go ahead.
Lane every day during this storm?
Yep.
What did you do with that information?
I clearly wanted to have the information. That's
Did you
what I
send it
did.
out to the citizens? Did you contact council? Did you tell staff? Did you contact Charlie?
No, I asked where we were, why are we doing this, Tony? This is just
It
theatrics.
was
It was an agenda item.
Yeah, it
Well,
was
you're
an
going
agenda
back.
item.
You
to
want a
it?
discussion, we're having a discussion.
We're going back and arguing about it,
No, we're having a discussion.
trying to move on, but
Excuse me, the
you can have
council is having a
discussion. Go
discussion.
ahead. Go ahead.
So it was a discussion. We're having a discussion. We're not arguing.
are.
We're having a discussion. I'm asking questions.
Go ahead. You have a question of me?
That was the question I asked. What did you do with the information?
I called to ask about the information. That's
Okay.
what I called.
And as the director, did you provide it to anyone else?
Okay, Tony,
Yes, ma'am?
I am
It's a quick
saying that I did not know until the issue came up. I didn't know 1.07.034. I did not know 418. I do know that now.
Okay.
I do know that. So I know going forward, that's where we are going forward. So, you want any more discussion on it?
I am through. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just as a point of clarity for the future, I would say a lot of these items could be more simply solved simply by sticking your head in an office and saying, hey, can we discuss, instead of hashing this out here. I think
That'd be nice.
the last one with Chief Schneider at the dais was frustrating to see probably the nicest guy in City Hall take what looked like a public reprimand, when I feel like a lot of these things can be solved. Just let's step into each other's offices, let's have these conversations first before we hash them out here at the dais.
Okay, let me clarify that. I did not do that to him. I was trying to explain what I just went over. That's all I was trying to explain, and I wasn't here in 2022. I'm here in 2026, and I'm doing the job of a mayor as best I can.
Understood.
But I am going to go by the law, the
Yes, ma'am.
local, and the state. And when you argue with me about it, that's what was happening. And I did not disrespect him at all. I was trying to explain to him, I see what it is now, and we can go forward. And I truly would have very much wanted him on the team because of his experience. But I did not disrespect him. I was trying to explain that I am involved and I'm going to be involved. That's what I'm going to do, Nathan.
And
I said that I
ma'am.
would. I swore that I would.
Yes, ma'am. And I saw your email where you said that there was no intent to do any of that, and I believe you. But we did have
That's
public
correct.
comment last week from a citizen that said that he didn't deserve that. So I'm saying there may also be the appearance of it.
There are
So I'm-
citizens who
Yes,
go back and forth.
Correct. So
You're
I'm
right.
saying for future purposes, instead of the conversations we had there, let's hash them out in offices first. And then when we get
We
to
could
this
do that.
point. Correct,
And
everybody.
This one too. That
Correct.
would be very good.
Yes. So
Yeah,
that's all-
let's quit the drama. That would be nice.
Correct. That's all I'm going for on this.
I like that idea.
I saw your email. I understand your position and
Yep.
respect it. And I'm just saying, let's go there. from
Appreciate it.
Here on.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion before we move on? Executive session? Okay, the next items on the agenda will be executive session. In accordance with the Texas Government Code, Chapter 551, Subchapter D, the City Council will recess an executive session to discuss the following. Item 13 falls under Section 551.074, personnel matters regarding a date for city manager finalist interviews. I'm hoping a date can be determined so that we can hold a meet and greet event for our citizens that we have talked about quite a few times. Item 14 falls under Section 551.071, attorney consultation related to the Baldine annexation lawsuit filed by the cities of Aledo and Fort Worth, Texas versus Willow Park, Texas. Cause number CV26-0175 in Parker County's 43rd District Court. Item 15 also falls under Section 551.071, attorney consultation related to the Fort Worth Waterline extension lawsuit. City of Willow Park versus Half and Associates. Items 16, 17, 18 fall under Section 551.071, attorney consultation regarding a police investigation, police department request, and police procedures during public meetings respectively. Item 19 falls under Section 551.071, attorney consultation related to the communication with the governing body. The time is now 7:45. We'll recess in a closed session. Thank you. Okay, we're reconvening into open session in accordance with the Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. The City Council will reconvene into regular session to consider action, if any, on any matters in the executive session. It is 8:52. Does the council wish to make any motion related to the closed session discussion? Any motions?
Don't believe so.
No action.
No action.
Okay. So we're done. Moving on.
We have to vote on that, don't we?
That's your no action. Do you need a vote?
I thought we had to vote. No, okay, my bad.
Okay, next, 20. Move into informational comments. We'll begin with item 20, city manager comments. Do you have any?
No, ma'am.
Okay, moving on. 21, city council mayor comments. I have none. Moving on. Item 22, items of community interest. Save the date. We're just talking about July 4th again, the district. Mentioning that again, coming soon. Nothing on that. Item 23, future agenda items requested by the mayor, city council, or the staff.
We heard a couple tonight. I'd like to put on there the potential speeding issues on any of our city streets if we look at the, not just Kingsgate, but potentially another look at all speed enforcement, speed humps as well. And then I wrote another one down, but I can't think of it at the moment, so.
The only one I had that to follow up is review and amend the Willow Park ordinances related to the hiring of police chief that we've already mentioned.
I would like that on there.
Okay, we'll do that on this next one.
And then mine was the re-looking at the decorum rules for public comments. We need to really hash that out.
We'll have to work with the attorneys on what we're doing there. Okay, so I'd like to adjourn. Can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. Moving on.
We all